Are in the full glare of the sun. Big field here though, plenty of athletes out there who are familiar names, and perhaps the best known of them, a certain Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He goes here in the event that he admitted himself, chatting to him over the last couple of days, is kind of his sweet spot, the 3,000 meters. Of course, he was fourth, a shocked fourth in the Olympic 1500 in Rome, but finished up taking the 5,000 meter gold. He is super strong, is Ingebrigtsen. There he is, still only 23. His wife was ill after the games, he said to me, chatting to him, and the coach coming in from the airport, he said, so he's had to be very cautious, sleeping in a separate bed during the last couple of weeks. Ronald Quemoy, the Olympic silver medalist at 5,000 behind Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen, by the way, won that 5,000 pretty easily, I thought. Grant Fisher, what a games he had, the American. A brace of bronzes from the 5,000 and the 10,000 meters for the 27-year-old. World number 2 at 3,000 this year, by the way. Kilometer, we've rocketed past him. He was only 6th in the Olympic 10,000, the world indoor record holder for the mile. Aragawi is out there as well, the silver medalist for the Olympic 10,000. Solomon Barrega, the Tokyo 10,000 meters champion. It is a field that is absolutely loaded with talent. 5 men have broken 7:30 this year. 44 men ever have gone under 7 minutes 30. But there is a rumor that they could be chasing Daniel Koeman's world record here, and that world record goes back to 1996 in Rieti, the Kenyan, running 7 minutes 20. So away they go, and they need to go super fast. Get this, when Koeman ran at 3,000 meters, he went through 4 laps in 3:55. So he ran about 3:55, 3:56 for a mile during a 3,000. That was only really a little bit after the halfway stage. Koeman has got the sort of speed and strength to be able to do that, but can he do it here today? That is the big question. Is he hungry enough, or is he just wanting to race here and impose himself over most of his great rivals at this distance? The pacemakers, well, they're going out, we understand, 2:27.5 for the first 1,000. That'll be Peter Sisk, who ran a brilliant 800 personal best, 1:43 in Lausanne a couple of nights ago, and then Chatty of the USA will be the second pacemaker, who Ingebrigtsen hopes will get him to 2,000 in about 4:55. And you know it's quick, don't you, when a field of this caliber is spread over 25 meters, Hannah?
Jakob Ingebrigtsen has said he doesn't want to go too aggressively in the first couple of kilometres. I think he'd rather have company in that first 2 kilometres and then wind it up over the final circuit. But they've got 2 fantastic pacemakers here in Sisk and Chiatti. And I think if there's anyone that could take Ingebrigtsen as far as he likes it, it could be these 2. They've got the lights. It's looking really good so far, and the way the athletes are spread out behind, I think there'll be some other athletes making a decision here and thinking that, you know, anything around 7:30 would be fantastic for them. But they know Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he's hunting for something a bit more special in those low 7:20s. And Marcin Lewandowski, the 800-meter specialist from Poland, he's here with the organising committee. You could see him screaming from the sidelines.
Well, that was just about perfect, that first 600. They're going to the back straight now. They'll see 800 meters here. Now, when Koeman, get this, when he ran his world record, we went through 800 in 1:56. I remember commentating on it with my old mucker Steve Cram, and it was science fictional running at the time. It's still pretty special. It was up there with the Bob Beamon long jump and that sort of thing. It was one of the great world records. It is one of the great world records, and at the moment, it's unapproached. But Ingebrigtsen in 3rd place, slotted in behind the 2 pacemakers. They're in 4th place. That is Kilometer. He's a great racer. Remember, I said the world record holder for the mile indoors. Aragawi there in the orange, back in 6th place. Yehune, Adisu Yehune, world junior champion at 5,000 a couple of years back, is back in 5th. They come through 1,000, 2:27.06. That is just about perfect. That is superb pacemaking.
That is absolutely perfect. And Kilometer, remember, he was only 100th behind Jakob Ingebrigtsen at the pre last year at the Diamond League final. You know, he's 4th fastest all time. Kilometer, when he gets it right, is a phenomenal athlete. He's got the 10K strength and he's got that mile speed. I think Kilometer made it a deliberate move around Yehune there to say, I want to be on the coattails of Ingebrigtsen. And Sisk, he's starting to push here. I feel like Sisk might be at the end of his time, just trying to squeeze out every metre he can before Chiatti takes over.
Yeah, Sisk got to move out the way now. It's just beginning to slow a little bit. They went through 3 laps in about 2:57, so they can't afford to slow here. They've got to keep cranking out 59s at least these next 3 laps. This middle section of the race, absolutely critical now. You know it's quick because big names have been dropped. Grant Fisher back there, second in the chasing pack as these 6 come through in front of us. 3.5 laps, 3:26. There it is, a 59.1. He's going well, Sisk here. Better than I expected for an 800-metre man, and Chatty in the blue will try and push it on this next 400-500 metres, I'm sure, when Sisk moves out of the way. Sisk grimacing. Ingebrigtsen looking comfortable there. Kijelcha back in 4th place, and in 5th place, and still looking strong, is Yehune, with Aregawi tucked in the orange vest. A tiny figure of Aregawi in 6th place as Sisk moves out of the way. They go through 4 laps down, about 3:56.5. Now, I can tell you that at 4 laps, Komen was on 3:55, so they're a second or so down on world record schedule at the moment.
But there are rumours that Jakob Ingebrigtsen wants to close hard, he wants to finish hard. That's his racing style. The lights they're on around now, I think, are around about that European record pace, but they are anticipating that the lights will speed up in the last kilometre. That's what Ingebrigtsen's asked for. Chiatti is doing a fantastic job here. He was 4th place at the USA trials over 1,500 metres, very nearly made their Olympic team. He's looking good, he's bang on the lights. Ingebrigtsen, he looks like he's itching, he's ready to go. Aregawi, it was very impressive from Aregawi, that move from the chase pack to get himself up here at the front of the race, but you feel like Ingebrigtsen is just going to start to unleash a little bit more as we move into the last 600.
So Ingebrigtsen comes up to 2,000 metres, 4:55.21. Well, at 2,000 metres it was 4:53 for the world record holder Komen. He's about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds down on world record slots from splits from Komen now. He needs to work really hard this last couple of laps as Jakob Ingebrigtsen. I still feel he's got something in hand. They've lost Yehune, who was 14th in the Olympic 5,000 metres. He's back in 4th place. The rest of them are way back, some 70 metres back. They go through there, another 59.0 lap. And even Kijelcha, with his massive strength and speed, remember a 3:47 indoor mile, a sub-27-minute 10,000 metre runner. He's had enough. Now Ingebrigtsen here, if he can really let rip this last 600 metres, that world record is still possible. Komen's last lap was 59.09, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen doesn't run 59-second last laps. He tends to run 56 or quicker. So he goes through with 600 metres to run. The gap now with Aregawi in 2nd, Kijelcha in 3rd. Those gaps are growing all the time. Aregawi sticking stoically to the task, but that sort of psychological elastic band surely is stretched now to the point of breaking between the Norwegian in the lead and Aregawi of Ethiopia back in 2nd place. Aregawi, remember, the Olympic silver medalist over 10,000 metres in Paris. As he comes to the bell now, Ingebrigtsen hits the bell in 6:22 flat. He needs to run a 58. The world record after 57.4 penultimate lap is under severe threat here. Ingebrigtsen, 300 to run, Hannah, and the record is in reach.
This is vintage Ingebrigtsen. He squeezed. He asked for those lights to speed up, and he is now leaving the world record pace lights behind him and the rest of the field. Aregawi is working so hard. The 10K strength is great, but Ingebrigtsen with 200 metres left to go.
He's feeling it, Ingebrigtsen. Little nervous glance over his shoulder there with about 250 to go. Now 150 to go. Round the crown of the bend. Aregawi is hanging on, but the gap is 20 metres and it's growing with every stride. And he comes into the straight and the crowd know what's going on. Watch that clock. The world record, 7:20.67, is going to be smashed here by the Norwegian. It's a world record yet again for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Well, it was on the cards after that world record last year in Paris over 2 miles. 7:54 he ran for 2 miles, smashing the old world record by 4 seconds. He's just broken Komen's world record, one of the great world records in the history, in the annals of track and field athletics, by over 2 seconds. Unbelievable. Indeed, just double-checking that time, he's broken it by over 3 seconds. I told you it was his sweet spot, and you don't get much sweeter than that. Unbelievable. 7:17, Forget 7:30, 60 seconds per lap, more or less 4-minute miling pace. This fella just takes the record bits and he doesn't rip them up, he liquidizes them. That was fantastic from Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and you do have to wonder how he got it wrong in that Olympic 1500 final 2 weeks ago when he couldn't retain his title from Tokyo. He said to me yesterday, chatting to him, that he knew that the first 400 in Paris was too quick, and he said as he came into the home straight in Paris in that Olympic 1500 final, his legs were dead, he had nothing in them, and he was outside the medals. Well, tonight, that in a way, a $50,000 bonus, petty cash to a lad like Jakob Ingebrigtsen, I'm sure, but that world record is his gold medal. It's a degree of consolation.
And we've got to say, phenomenal pacemaking from the two pacemakers. Ingebrigtsen put himself right where he needed to be. The field spread out. This was perfect, but that doesn't always yield a world record. You need to be on the very best form of your life. You need to be up for it. You need to be motivated. And Ingebrigtsen, I think, given the effort into Paris for those two events and failing to get a medal in the 1500 metres, yes, he bounced back in the 5K, but the emotional and physical toil of that, it's evaporated. There's been no Olympic hangover for Ingebrigtsen. He was brilliant in Lausanne on Thursday, but that I don't think even he thought he was going to break the world record by that much. He obliterated it.
And look at that smile. He is in shock. And I'll tell you what, some people say he's arrogant, he's pompous. He's not, he's just super confident. But he has shocked himself there. He is astonished. And it takes something superhuman to astonish this man. 7:17.55. Do not readjust your set. Look at that. He took another couple of seconds out of Aragawi down the home straight. A national record for the Ethiopian, 7:21. He finishes only half a second outside the old world record. And Kajelcha in third, 7:28. Well, he was an afterthought, but he broke 7:30. Quite miraculous. That has to be one of the top 2 or 3 track performances of the year, Hannah, if not the track performance of the year. A world record in this distance, which is, of course, not a championship distance outdoors, 3,000 metres.